Guys, there's only one place to start this morning, and that's with that horrific Christian Eriksen incident during the Denmark and Finland match, the Inter Milan midfielder. Welcome to another episode of Gulf News Kicking Back, the show where we discuss all things football. I'm Imran Malik, and I'm joined again by Matt Smith, Shamsir Mohammed, and our special guest, Sahil Sajan. Guys, there's only one place to start this morning, and that's with that horrific Christian Eriksen incident during the Denmark and Finland match, the Inter Milan midfielder suffering a heart attack and collapsing on the pitch. But the quick actions of the Danish team and the paramedics thankfully saved his life. But for a long time, we were all fearing the worst, weren't we?
Yeah, it was horrendous. It was. We've all seen these moments before with the likes of Fabrice Muamba and things like that, but it never gets any less shocking when you see a professional athlete just suddenly stop like that. It shows the stresses that these guys do put themselves through, and the high fitness levels, and as you say, the quick response times make these incidents not fatal. We've seen before so many times of that having more tragic circumstances, but again, in this day and age, we are very fortunate that the people are there and are trained very well to deal with these situations as and when they arise.
Yeah, it was one of the worst scenes that I have seen on a football pitch. It was that terrifying. It was petrifying. You know, I'm not exaggerating enough, because this thing, it was like something has happened to someone very close to you. It's something happened to some of your relative, because it shows how deeply connected this game to all of us around the world, and every one of us were praying to get Eriksen back on the pitch initially, but then we realized the scenario has been really bad. And one thing I have to point out is that Anthony Taylor, along with the medics and everyone, Anthony Taylor actually reacted pretty quickly, which was, I have been a big critic of Anthony Taylor, but he made a decision pretty early, and that allowed the medics to do their jobs pretty easily. And also one more hero was there, a brave heart like Simon Kjær. He actually comforted his Eriksen's girlfriend. He patrolled all the teammates and made a human wall around Eriksen to keep his situation away from the camera angles. So I don't know, it was one of the worst scenes I have ever seen on a football pitch, but thankfully Eriksen is all right.
Mm-hmm.
Sahil, what do you think? Horrible, wasn't it?
It was devastating to watch, be it a Euro 2020 game or just a general game. You never want to see a football player collapse during the field, and the guy needed CPR, which made it even more worse. It was just, I don't know, I just was stunned to see it. And, a big name like Eriksen has gone down, and, you could see, but I was just so proud of the Danish team, just, covering him, so that the media doesn't take any photos. That was just like excellent to see. I mean, you've seen it all over social media, how they've done it. And, I'm just so sad, like Christian Eriksen, unfortunately, will not be fit. And how it's affected the Danish team. So, but in the end, credit to the Danish team, as Shamsir said, like Simon Kjær and the referee did their job well. So, yeah.
The match was suspended for almost 2 hours before it was allowed to resume. Now, the big talking point is, should it have been allowed to go ahead after that distressing incident? I mean, my personal opinion is that it should not have. None of the players would have been in the right frame of mind. It happened right by the touchline next to the main stand, so thousands of fans would have seen that upsetting incident up close. And I think more respect should have been paid to that horrific situation. The game itself wasn't even that vital. It was just their first group game and could have easily been rescheduled.
Absolutely. This shows that they're treating footballers are not humans. Like they're treating them as robots. Yes, there were talks about Eriksen was said to the players that the game can be go on, but the decision shouldn't be rested on the players. The UEFA should have suspended the game at least for 24 hours or something. Like they were not in the right frame of mind. You could see the Danish players were struggling on the pitch. Especially someone like Schmeichel making that kind of a mistake. He fumbled, which is very unlike of Schmeichel. And even you can see Højbjerg missing a penalty. It's all in their heads, man. Shouldn't have played that game at that time. And credit to the Finland players. Even after scoring, Christoph, what's his name, Poyampolo didn't celebrate, which was showing respect to Eriksen. But the game should have never happened. Should have never happened.
You're
But
right.
I think
Michael saved those with his eyes closed. Normally, he absolutely fumbled that. I think his mind for sure was elsewhere. Same for Hjolberg. The penalty, it was a half-hearted attempt. He really didn't hit it. I'm sure when he put the ball down, his mind was obviously probably on Eriksen.
I don't think any of them wanted to be there. And after that incident, they just wanted to get off the pitch as soon as possible. And maybe that's why they decided just to get the game over with, so it didn't hang over them. They just decided, let's just get this done. We don't care about the 3 points anymore. Let's just get off the field and then we'll regroup for another day. And I think that's why they went ahead with it, to make sure it wasn't hanging over them. And as I said, they discussed it, and I think that they made the right decision amongst themselves to get it over and done with. Maybe not in terms of getting the correct result they wanted, but they definitely just to allow everybody to move on.
Oh, but the decision shouldn't have been rested on the players, Matthew. It should have been, the federation should have taken a call on that.
The game shouldn't have been played. I mean, I get it. Like, maybe Eriksen must have told his players, you guys have to play this game and all that. But no, look, they were not in the frame of mind, as you're saying. Højbjerg,
well, Eriksen himself wouldn't have been in the correct frame of mind to be making decisions for anybody anyway.
Exactly.
Not at all.
It should have been postponed. Why can't they just play another day? Why just finish the game? For what?
I agree that UEFA should have taken the decision out of their hands, but I still think that they should have played it, and they did the right thing to play it. But had UEFA forced them to play it, that would be an entirely different story. But maybe they decided they wanted to do it. So
maybe
I think,
but still, you saw the way they scored. No celebration. Even they were not in the right frame of mind.
No.
It should have been played. Even Finland definitely would have been agreed to not playing this game. But
absolutely, and there'll be a black mark next to that game forever. Now, they'll be, that wouldn't be remembered for that win. That will be remembered for that incident with Eriksen.
I think a broader conversation needs to be had about fixture congestion and scheduling, because for a long time now we keep hearing from all the top managers in the European League saying that there are far too many games and there's potential serious injuries to players. Perhaps now football's governing body will sit up and take notice and maybe make some changes and give players a bit more time to rest. Do you think that'll happen?
Possibly, but again, it shouldn't have come to this. Why does a man have to collapse on the field before people listen? They should just say, do you know what? We don't have to keep making a fast buck here and there and having more and more games and expanded club competitions when people's lives and welfare are at stake, Again, she was talking about injuries as well. A guy's career could be over by playing 3 games a week just because a hamstring goes, or a broken ankle, or a unfortunate incident getting off the bus. It could be any of these sort of things, but I think there's way too many games as is.
Often people talk about the physical problems that these players are facing, but there is a bigger, broader issue about the mental strength and mental illness. These are not discussed enough. The stress that they are involving in. Yes, obviously they're having the flashy cars, a lot of money involved in it, but they're all humans just like you and me. They all have emotions. They all have all sort of feelings. So we need to consider that as well. Even forget about the federation. Even the fans don't even really care about that, because you can see all the abuses and everything they get when one chance goes missing. So it's a deeper issue.
There's a reason why managers keep saying, there's a tight schedule, my players will burn out. The players might say, manager, I'm like, sir, I'm ready to play. Don't worry about it all. But in the end, the managers know what's best, because the players, they're desperate to play. They enjoy the game, but they won't realize that they're burning themselves out. This is one thing they should focus on. Like, the games should be having a space of at least 4 to 5 days, because generally for club matches, there are like league games, the Champions League. Now the Euros also, every 4 days they will have a game. So definitely they're going to burn out.
Yeah, all interesting opinions there. Now, aside from that Denmark-Finland game, there were 2 more matches played yesterday. Wales against Switzerland, which finished 1-1. But the Swiss will feel really disappointed that they didn't get the win after a dominant display, won't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Wales were not the best, and they'll be feel lucky to get a point out of that game, I think. Switzerland, while they're not exactly held in the same acclaim and esteem as the Belgiums and the Frances right now, they should be beating Wales. They really should be. They're no offense to the Welsh, they're a one-man team, really, in my opinion. And Switzerland will think that they've let that one go. I think, considering, as you said, the dominance that they put in, they did everything right except for getting the win.
It looked like they stopped playing, didn't they? I mean, if you compare them to, for example, Italy, after they got 1 goal, 2 goals, 3 goals, they were still trying to score. But the Swiss yesterday seemed to be quite happy with just that 1 goal and then try to contain the Wales team.
Absolutely. They made a big mistake in taking off Shaqiri and putting a defensive midfielder on. That actually changed the game. Then after that, Wales got a grip in the game because it was like a Jose Mourinho-esque kind of a thing to do,
Off the bus.
park the bus after 1-0, but shutting the shop didn't work well. Because in the last 10-15 minutes, Wales really clicked together. And all their big players like Ramses and Bales, even these guys, the guy who scored the equalizer. It's a fantastic story for that kid because he's been playing for Cardiff City, but not long ago he was playing in the non-tier English leagues like the Conference League and all. So it's a brilliant story for him to score the equalizer. But Swiss should be, should have won that game in the first half itself because of the amount of chances Seferovic scored in the first half itself was they missed it. They missed the chance. And now Turkey will be the happiest team among the group.
I mean, Wales needed something really special. It was a world-class header by Kiefer Moore. Let's be honest. It's not easy to score such headers, and they needed something special, which Gareth Bale wasn't able to provide. And Dan James also had a good game. He was providing with explosive pace. I think Jan Sommer also had a very good save on Kiefer Moore. So, I mean, credit to Wales for fighting it out till the end, but the Swiss will be scratching their heads. Really.
Yeah. I mean, Wales will be trying to replicate that incredible run they had in the last tournament in 2016 when they got to the semi-final. But on the basis of that performance yesterday, they won't even get out of the group, will they?
They'll struggle.
They'll struggle, yeah, they'll struggle. Because, it's primarily down to the players who haven't played enough football. You can look at that Wales squad. You can see Ben Davies was out for a long time. Joe Allen hasn't played for a long time. Gareth Bale, yes, he played for Spurs, but not enough. Then you can see Daniel James, who was in the squad most of the times. So these players haven't played enough football in the last 12 months. That could cost Wales a lot.
Yeah, I mean, out of some of these squads, and you can reel off name after name after name. Once you get past like Aaron Ramsey and Gareth Bale, you really struggle to name a lot of players in this team. You kind of go, "Who's that guy?" I mean, you can't even recognize. You can't recognize them. It's
no, you're right.
It's not like the France squad where you can just go boom, 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 or the Belgium squad. The Wales team just kind of. I've never heard of half of these guys. So. It's I think that they'll be very quickly forgotten in this tournament.
I think the real difference between the sides was Mbola, the Switzerland striker. He was an absolute handful for the Wales defence. They just couldn't stop him.
Strength, pace, everything was there in him. He was outstanding, and especially after the second half began, he was dangerous. Like Joe Rodon was not even able to contain him at all. He was outstanding yesterday, Mbolo.
It was very, very honest from the kid not to fall from a shirt pull from Mepam. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
There was an incident. This shows, why the players are diving in the box. The guy was honest. He didn't dive. His shirt was in Mepam's hand, but still he didn't dive. That's another talking point.
I think he looks. He looks a perfect fit for the Premier League. I think a big money move from Borussia Mönchengladbach's on the cards for him.
You never know.
A certain Everton needs a striker apart from Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, we could do a lot worse. I really was impressed with him.
I'll tell you, I was impressed with was that Belgium team last night as well. That was a very efficient display, I thought.
Belgium, my tip for the tournament, Matt. Yeah, up against Russia, they strolled to a comfortable 3-0 win in the end, and credit to them because several of those players were teammates of Eriksen, and that would have been on their minds. But they didn't let that disrupt their game, did they?
No, not at all. Not at all. They were very businesslike, and As you said, your tip for the tournament, they'll take some stopping. I mean, obviously, it just depends on one day, one match, but they look as though they mean business this time around. You know, they're always the bridesmaids. They've come so close so many times, but they've never quite lifted a major trophy yet. But could well be this time around. And that's without Kevin De Bruyne.
I absolutely love the way Romelu Lukaku went towards the camera and screamed, Chris, I love you." It shows how beautiful the game is, you know.
It was a good moment.
And after the game, he told that he was crying before the game. So he dedicated the game, the win to Christian Eriksen. It shows how they're all connected to each other. And for Belgium, you know, Romelu Lukaku is their talisman in the absence of KDB and Eden Hazard. And he was brilliant. We have seen how good he is. He's a powerhouse. He can be a target man. He can be a lethal finisher. He can score from set pieces. He's a brilliant player.
Absolutely. You know, like we were all saying, like without De Bruyne, they might not be like balanced, but look at them. They were like outstanding. And now Kevin De Bruyne is yet to come back. But again, Russia were poor at the back, you know, 2 sloppy errors. And you cannot do errors against world-class teams like Belgium. So credit to Belgium for taking their chance as well. But obviously they are the world-class team and we're going to see more of them.
Yeah, I mean, De Bruyne and Axel Witsel were both out with injuries, but Tielemans and Dendoncker had a really good game in midfield. And overall, there was a really good tempo about their play, wasn't there?
Yeah, they definitely and they know each other very well. A lot of them play in different leagues around the world, but when they come together as a proper unit. And I think a lot of that can come from being a smaller nation like that. And you know, like Belgium and even guys like Scotland, you know each other a lot better than, say, if you've got a large, if you're spread across the whole of Germany, for example, and beyond. These guys, they're friends first and foremost, and then they're teammates. You know, they know each other very well.
Yeah, it's also the credit to the manager. He has been there for like 5 years, and he's getting the team right now because he knows how organized they are. You can see a certain flair in their play, which is down to the manager, because you can see Axel, like Imran said, Axel Witsel and KDB and Eden Hazard were in playing, but still they all gelled together. So it was brilliant to watch them.
And also, yeah, great to see Eden Hazard get some minutes. You know, that's a bit of a motivation for Belgium because he's their hero since a long time. So let's see what he does in the tournament. He's not had a great 2 years. We all want to see what does he do for Belgium this year.
That's a very good point. And Munich got the second and Lukaku got the third. He's already on 2 goals, and at times he looks unplayable. He's definitely got his eyes on the golden boot, hasn't he?
Definitely.
I picked him for the golden boot anyway.
I think that there's maybe 3 or 4 guys that have all got maybe an inkling of to think that they could do it. Maybe Harry Kane, maybe Kylian Mbappe. But to get that first game out of the way, to get 2 goals in the bag, he's definitely got himself on the perfect start.
Right, moving on. We've got 3 more fixtures today. A couple of big games in the mix. The first one, England against Croatia at Wembley. You've mentioned Harry Kane there. Do you think he's gonna do well today? How do you think he's going to get on today?
Well, it's a rematch of that World Cup clash, isn't it? Which didn't go England's way. But I think that with the England team being a couple of years older, a couple of years wiser, and the Croatia team being a bit on the wane, I think England will have too much for them today. I think that they've just got that little bit of extra class these days, and I think that they'll comfortably 2-0, easy, 2-0, 3-0.
Oh, so.
I'm saying that with this shirt on.
Oh my God!
Right, I'll tip Scotland later.
You scratch my back.
What do you think, man?
It's a big test for some of the boys there. You know, likes of Declan Rice's, Mason Mount's, Phil Foden's. It's their first major tournament, and they just want to see how they're going to perform. It's all down to the manager now. How is he going to pick up the team? You know, they have the plethora of talents everywhere on the pitch, except at the back. But I just want to see whether he's going to use 3 at the back, 4 at the back. It's all down to the manager now.
But I don't think I don't want to write Croatia off. Yes, England, like, look at their team. It's wonderful. But, it's going to be a good game. I'm hoping that England win, obviously, because I support them. But I'm not going to write Croatia off. The influence of Luka Modric will be there no matter what. Yeah, he's 35 plus. But let's be honest, he's got his influence on the game. Ante Rebic is a man in form. So it's going to be a wonderful game to watch. I'm hoping that we all enjoy a wonderful game.
I think we're going to see quite a few goals in this one. I'm predicting a high-scoring 3-2 to England. I can see Kane grabbing one. I can see Sterling. I can see Foden, all the boys like you mentioned, and also for Croatia, Modric, Vlasic he's a really good player. Moving on though to Scotland, how do you think they're going to get on against the Czech Republic?
Sorry, run it. Austria versus North Macedonia.
That's the other one.
Second game. That's the second. Scotland play tomorrow.
Scotland are playing tomorrow. I thought they were playing today.
Tomorrow.
Wow.
Anyway, my English prediction has to be heard. Yeah, I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game, and I think Croatia will nick it because I'm sure Gareth Southgate doesn't know what team is he going to pick up, and Harry Maguire isn't there, and it's going to be 1-0 Croatia.
Oh,
the lights just went out for Shamshir as well there. Yeah, I think
the signs are bad.
in your defence there, I think Austria versus North Macedonia kind of speaks for itself, hence why it slipped your mind. It's not exactly the sexiest game of football, is it?
Not at all. It'll probably be one of the best ones now that we've said that.
It's 7-7 now, wait and see.
I'm going
for North Macedonia, it's a nostalgic game. They're the first ever in a major tournament, and for Austria, it is to show them the strength they possess because Austria are a very good team. They haven't played well in the last World Cup, but it is their time to shine and show the world that they're good enough as a team. Someone like David Alaba could be instrumental.
I don't want to.
Every team has earned it. They've all earned the right to be at this tournament, So
yeah.
Now they've got to just put on a display and show why they're there.
But North Macedonia beat Germany 2-1, right? So I don't want to write them off. They will actually give a fight to Austria. What was I saying? Like Austria should win? Absolutely not. I think North Macedonia will definitely give a fight. They can beat a team like Germany. Surely there's a game on there.
Yeah, that's the beauty of football. You can't predict it. And I want all our predictions to go wrong. So that makes it this game even
more interesting. You're right, absolutely. Yeah. The Netherlands are playing today without Virgil van Dijk at the back. How are they going to get on?
Well, I think that they've got enough strength throughout that squad. I think that they might not go all the way, but they'll comfortably get through their group and they'll make the knockout stages, no problem. Virgil is be a big miss for them as he has been for Liverpool all season. But there's a lot of strength and depth. Netherlands are more than just one player. They're right the way through. They've got brimming with talent all the way through that squad, and they'll cause a few upsets, I think, on their way to the latter stages of the knockouts.
Well, they were doing all the right things under Ronald Koeman a year ago or so, before he moved to Barcelona. So the Dutch team, I'm skeptical about them because it's down to the manager again. Because you know who's the manager? It's Frank de Boer. I don't know what to say. You remember his record when he was at Crystal Palace?
I'll never forget that.
8 games, 8 losses.
It was less, Shamsir. It was less than that.
It was less than that. So
yes,
Dutch team has got some good players like Memphis Depay, Wijnaldums, and all these players. But I am skeptical about their manager, and I don't know because they were doing all the right things under Ronald Koeman, but it's all gone in vain under this guy. So I don't expect many good things about them, but I expect a lot of good things about Ukraine, especially with someone like Andrei Shevchenko, with all the experiences that he got. He's their manager, and they have got players like Zinchenko's, Yarmolenko's, Malinowski's, and all these players. I think Ukraine could be could surprise Netherlands today.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I agree with that. Okay, that's all from us. Head to gulfnews.com to catch all the latest Euro 2020 news and match previews. And we'll be back in the morning to see how my lot go on against Croatia and all the other games playing today. Last but not least, our thoughts and prayers are with Christian Eriksen and his family. We all hope he makes a full and speedy recovery. See you tomorrow.
See you.
Cheers, guys.